Joe. This next tune is in two. It's kind of a fake out. Yeah. 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 He just starts. The end is really slow. Halftime. tea? Hey, Joe. There's a pickup in the A that goes, yup. Oh, yes. Okay.
I'm messing up, I feel like. Give me all the guidance, Paul. See? Ready? I guess it's me, huh? Very safe seats.
What's up?
Lemons? Lemon. It's been a while. I think it just reads down. Huh? Yeah, right? Reach straight down. Yep. There's a few hairy chords in this one.
Yo.
Yeah, you start this one.
What? I know. You started?
You want me to?
No, I just started, right?
We all start on count
Okay,
one, right?
here.
Yeah. Ready? Yep. Close out. We're gonna need a couple of.
That's a plenty?
Now we might need something else.
Well, let's play that's a plenty then we'll play something else snappy.
Like El Gato and Montes?
Yeah. That sounds good.
After this one?
After.
Why don't we do El Gato and then that's a plenty?
Oh, yeah. What name is Elgato?
25.
How do you know that?
We doing this then?
Yeah.
Wow, that would have been. You could have just switched books.
Switch part? No DC on this, Jordy. No DC.
DC?
Yeah.
Just ends.
And then we all get out Olay.
Ready?
We'll just wait for a second before we play it. Just wait.
According to my time, it should be right about now. You hit that exactly. What? Sure. I have 2:35 on the piece and 12:57:40 on the
2:15 on the piece. We must play faster than you.
Okay, let's do it.
Please take a moment to silence your mobile devices. As a safety precaution in the unlikely event of an emergency, please locate your nearest exits. Our program will begin momentarily. Thank you and enjoy.
Next? Are you kidding?
I think so.
Wow, what's that? You said that. What's it called?
I thought we wait till it's after the procession.
I don't know. Let's find out.
Always has been.
Just in a second.
We should know that.
I can't remember. Procession first.
Yeah.
Okay, no,
Procession
no.
first.
So I'm
Procession
that scared me, man. Gee, I'm not concerned.
That's we're waiting for the light to come back on, and that's when we start.
Okay.
Lincoln.
What, start now, huh?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Please stand if you are able for the presentation of the colors by the University of Nevada, Reno, ROTC, and the playing of the national anthem. Thank you. Please be seated. My name is Tim Baker. I'm the Senior Associate Dean for Academic Affairs at UNR Med and Vice President for Education at Renown Health. I would like to begin this ceremony with a university land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that the University of Nevada, Reno is situated on the traditional homelands of the Nama, Northern Paiute, Washoe, Washoe, Nuwa, Western Shoshone, and Nawa, Southern Paiute peoples. These lands continue to be a gathering place for Indigenous peoples, and we recognize their deep connections to these places. We extend our appreciation for the opportunity to live and learn on their territory. I am honored to welcome all of our distinguished guests, faculty, staff, alumni, family, friends, and most importantly, the class of 2023 to this very special event, the University of Nevada, Reno School of Medicine, Doctor of Medicine commencement ceremony. Gathered here today are many people who have shared in the success of these students, and it is a great gift that you are with us in person and virtually on this special day. This is a celebration not only of our students' achievements, but also a testament to your love, encouragement, and support that made this day possible for our graduates. And now I will recognize some special guests here with us today. Joining us on stage, and please stand or acknowledge yourself when called, with the Nevada System of Higher Education Board of Regents, Vice Chair Joe Arriscata, Regent Carol Del Carlo, Regent Jeffrey Downs, University of Nevada, Reno President Brian Sandoval, University of Nevada, Reno School of Medicine Dean and Renown Health Chief Academic Officer, Dr. Paul Hauptmann, Executive Associate Dean, Dr. Melissa Piasecki, our keynote speaker, President and Chief Executive Officer of the International AIDS Vaccine Initiative, Dr. Mark Feinberg, Associate Dean for Medical Education, Dr. Janet Corral, Associate Dean for Academic Affairs, Dr. Netta Edazadi Amoli, Associate Dean for Admissions and Student Affairs, Dr. Cherie Singer, Chair of the Department of Microbiology and Immunology, Dr. David Aucoin, University Associate Vice President for Research, Dr. Josh Baker, Professor of Physiology and Cell Biology, Dr. Carl Sievert, Associate Professor of Internal Medicine, Dr. Lisa Calvo, and President of the UNR Med Alumni Chapter, Dr. Rika Danko, a graduate of the UNR Med class of 2008 and a 2011 graduate of our internal medicine residency program. And we would also like to have a special welcome to our dedicated UNR Med faculty, our community faculty, staff members. Please stand and acknowledge yourself. Thank you. You may be seated. Excitement for commencement is demonstrated by the great turnout from our community: Renown Health, Sierra Nevada VA, Northern Nevada Medical Center, Reno Behavioral Healthcare Hospital, St. Mary's, Community Health Alliance, Washoe County Medical Society, and our community physicians. These partners are critical to the success of our learners. We also thank United States Senators Cortez Masto and Rosen for sharing senatorial certificates with each of our graduates today. We welcome and thank Lieutenant Colonel Bruce Gallio from the United States Air Force, and also a UNR Med community faculty member, who will lead commissioning for 3 of our graduates today. We welcome families, spouses, friends. You are the motivation that led these students to embark on this intense professional journey. You are the source of support that nurtured them for the past 20, or maybe more, years of education. UNR Med is also proud to have 2 alumni who are hooding graduates today. With us today is Dr. Jonathan Habashi from the class of 2020, hooding Sergio Trejo Jr. We have Dr. Ellen McBride from the class of 1995, hooding Jacqueline McBride. We also welcome Dr. Derek Bienfeld from the class of 2011, who's here with us today celebrating the graduation of his son, Davison Bienfeld. And also, and very importantly, joining us in the audience today are members of our charter class of 1973, who are here celebrating their 50th class reunion. Thank you all for being with us here today. And now, it is my great pleasure to invite the President of the University of Nevada, Reno, Brian Sandoval, to the podium.
Good afternoon, everyone. It truly is a privilege and honor to be here. Dean Hauptmann, distinguished guests, faculty, staff, students, friends, and family of UNR Med, but most of all, the members of our class of 2023, I am so extremely honored to be here today. And I'd also like to acknowledge our inaugural class of 1973. I had the privilege, we opened the time capsule from 50 years ago, and I've never had a chance to do that. But it really speaks well, and as I mentioned then, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I know I speak for everyone for your contributions to medicine. Thank you. So for our graduates, what a road all of you have traveled to reach this important moment in your lives. We all know what an all-consuming endeavor the field of medicine can be. The pandemic brought this truth into an even clearer focus over the past few years. Now, in June 2020, a few years before he would become our distinguished dean, Dr. Paul Hauptmann, along with his colleague Dr. Michael Rich, wrote about what the world of medicine was facing with the advent of COVID-19. Quote, "In healthcare," Dr. Hauptmann wrote, "in addition to the direct effects of the virus on infected individuals and their families, COVID-19 has dramatically altered how we deliver care and how, or even if, patients seek and receive care." Now, you as medical students were all in the midst of this dramatic change. You were medical students still learning, still listening, still absorbing so much. And then everything that you had come to feel you knew and understand was being challenged and changed. Longtime and excellent practitioners like Dean Hauptmann knew that as the world was changing, medical professionals would have to adapt to a new normal. He wrote of that uncertain time, which was tinged with a certain resolute optimism that medicine and science would always be needed, that, quote, "We look forward to the time when life as we know it gets back to some semblance of life as we knew it." And here we are today. Perhaps it isn't quite life as we knew it, but we are gathered here today in person, sharing in what is truly a monumental accomplishment for all of you. There are no timeouts, no pauses, and no work stoppages in the study of medicine. So you reach this important afternoon in May in the battle-born state, battle-tested, your hearts full and fully focused on what is next. Throughout your time as students with our School of Medicine, you've demonstrated to us all the attributes of our finest and most impactful doctors. You've shown resiliency and determination. You've remained positive and forward-thinking. And let's be clear about this. You've all chosen to reach this moment. And I think, too, that medicine, in all of its great mystery and all of its great wonder, has chosen you as well. Medicine has seen in you the ability to touch, to heal, to hope. And in the coming years, as you continue to make a difference, you will make medicine proud. You will make the University of Nevada, Reno School of Medicine proud. Now, it hasn't been easy these past 4 years, right? Oh, come on. But in that challenge, we've come to see who you are. We've come to see what a beautiful, talented, and amazing group that you are. We are incredibly proud of each and every one of you. You represent the very best of what our School of Medicine and our great university is all about. So on behalf of the University of Nevada, I wish to offer you my sincere congratulations, class of 2023. We await your next chapter, and we know that your work throughout the communities of our state and our nation will change so many lives forever. So congratulations, class of 2023, and go Pack. Thank you.
Thank you, President Sandoval. I would now like to invite to the podium the University of Nevada, Reno School of Medicine Dean and Chief Academic Officer of Renown Health, Dr. Paul Hauptmann.
Thank you very much, Dr. Baker, and welcome, everyone. Well, here we are, finally. By my calculations, 3 years, 9 months, 7 days, and 5 hours after you first entered UNR Med for orientation at 8 a.m. on August 5th, 2019, you, the members of the class of 2023, have reached this important moment. Clearly, a job well done. Before we get started, I would like to offer a warm round of applause for the family members and friends of our graduates here in person or virtually. Your love and sacrifice are both the why and the how we got here today. I'd also like to join others in taking a moment to celebrate the class of 1973, the inaugural class when the school was then known as the University of Nevada School of Medical Sciences. Several members are with us today: Dr. Jay Chamberlain, Dr. George Manning, Dr. Jim Morin, Dr. Earl Plunkett, and Dr. Jim Nelson, and I just want to extend my personal thank you again for everything that you've done. As President Sandoval mentioned, 2 days ago we had a time capsule reveal. The class of 1973 placed items into a time capsule, and now 50 years later we opened the vault. It was an amazing experience to stand with trailblazing alumni who continue to show their dedication to UNR Med. And in a demonstration of continuity, the class of 2023 placed new items into the vault, and we of course wish them well and the very best as they schedule their own reveal for May of, take a deep breath now, 2073. Just for fun, I looked up the May 10th, 1973 issue of the New England Journal of Medicine, the week of graduation, and it included a lot of cardiology, which made your dean quite happy. And for those who cannot believe that there was a time before the internet, one study in that issue described a medical information service that was made available to patients in the hospital setting by phone. And no, it wasn't an iPhone. No one can predict what will be germane in medicine in 2073. However, I suspect that there will still be a New England Journal of Medicine. And while change is constant in medicine, which makes lifelong learning so very important, some things must not and cannot change. The patient should always be at the center of what we do, always and every day. This has been and will continue to be a profession of sacrifice and responsibility. It is also a remarkable avocation, as you are expected to venture into people's lives. To make your careers more fulfilling, for those of you engaged directly in patient care, try to understand your patient and learn from them. In my career, I've learned about growing corn and soy, raising turkeys. I had an alpaca farmer, also an individual who worked in a Kraft American cheese factory and would regale me with tales of how the cheese tastes different depending on the time of year it was manufactured. Remember, too, that patients either overtly or covertly experience anxiety. There is a human being behind every x-ray and behind every lab test. What is a normal day for you can be a remarkable day for a patient who receives good news, and conversely, a life-changing and very difficult moment for a patient who experiences a threat to their mortality on that very same day. In that context, please do your best to avoid referring to patients by their condition. It's not a cancer patient, but a patient with cancer. It's not a heart failure patient, but a patient with heart failure. And speaking of heart failure, just last month, I received a completely unsolicited email from a patient I first cared for in 1995 when he was just 22 years old. He had an undefined form of muscular dystrophy, and with it came a progressive form of cardiomyopathy. We ended up transplanting his heart. He was young, a bit quirky, but always in good humor. In his email to me, he wrote that he was turning 50 years of age, that his transplanted heart was functioning well after 28 years, and he just wanted to reach out to me to say hello. This 25 years after our last clinic visit, how neat is that? What other profession gives you that? So take an extra 30 seconds or an extra 3 minutes to talk with your patients about their interests, their hobbies, their families, their worries. It does not take much, and you may learn something in return. Let me now tell you something about our commencement speaker. Dr. Mark Feinberg is an internationally recognized scientist whose career has been dedicated to HIV research and vaccine development across a range of serious infections like Ebola. He is currently president and CEO of the International AIDS Vaccine Initiative, where he leads a global team working to advance the development of vaccines to protect against infection with HIV and other infectious diseases that disproportionately impact low-income countries. Dr. Feinberg received his MD and PhD degrees from Stanford University, postgraduate medical training in internal medicine at Brigham and Women's Hospital, and postdoctoral fellowship training in the laboratory of Nobel laureate Dr. David Baltimore at the prestigious Whitehead Institute. He has previously served as a faculty member at UCSF and at the Emory University School of Medicine, and as a medical officer in the Office of AIDS Research at the National Institutes of Health. He has also served as Chief Public Health and Scientific Officer with Merck Vaccines. In this role, he helped advance the development and global availability of vaccines against rotavirus and human papillomavirus. He also led a range of research initiatives to address unmet health needs, including the coordination of private-public partnerships to expedite the Ebola vaccine development, and he has spent more than 20 years exploring HIV and AIDS pathogenesis, treatment, and prevention research. I had the privilege of meeting Dr. Feinberg when we were interns together. When we were in your shoes, we went through the emergence of HIV. Diagnostic of opportunistic infections was challenging. Treatment was sparse, difficult, and largely unsuccessful. Young people were dying every day right in front of us, and it was truly gut-wrenching. I knew a physician who died in that time after a needle stick. And now you have been through COVID. There are parallels. There will almost certainly be another threat to emerge during your medical careers. I trust that you will look back on your UNR Med experience and draw strength and resilience from it when the next pandemic hits. We have all learned a lot through these challenging times, and as a consequence, I can think of no one better to share this commencement exercise with us. Dr. Feinberg has spent several days on our campus meeting with students, faculty, and staff, and we appreciate his willingness to take time off from his busy schedule to be here today. One last comment. Dr. Feinberg has spent most of his career challenging conventional wisdom, and therein lies a lesson for all of us. You too should challenge conventional wisdom. When someone gives you a clinical algorithm on July 1st to follow, study it, critique it, ask questions about it, and change it if necessary. Does anyone here really believe that today's clinical algorithms will be in use in 10 years? How do these algorithms evolve? They evolve because physicians like yourselves ask critical questions. When someone says, well, that's just the way we do it here, don't accept this at face value. We need and expect you to ask questions today, tomorrow, and every day. Before we ask Dr. Feinberg to share with us his thoughts, it is fitting that we hear from the very, very soon-to-be Dr. Rachel White, president of the class of 2023. Throughout her time at UNR Med, Rachel has shown a strong dedication to service and to her community. At the Student Outreach Clinic, she was a board member, physician relations officer, and a student provider. Rachel has shown strong leadership skills as the leader for various student interest groups, including palliative care, pediatrics, and music and medicine. Rachel will spend the next several years at Children's Hospital Oakland, training to be a pediatrician. Therefore, it is a pleasure and an honor for me to introduce your class of 2023 president and our soon-to-be colleague, Rachel White. Rachel, please come to the podium.
I'm going to take a deep breath real quick. Okay. Welcome, graduates, families, and esteemed faculty members to the commencement ceremony for the University of Nevada, Reno School of Medicine. As we all know, graduating from medical school is a remarkable accomplishment. I don't think I need to emphasize to anyone here the level of resilience and dedication it took to be present in this room today. But as I was reflecting on what I wanted to say about the class of 2023, I realized I wanted to share what makes my classmates incredible beyond their achievement of graduating medical school. I want to highlight what makes my classmates exceptional as people. We have a remarkable group of people here today whose compassion and dedication to underserved communities rivals even that of Mother Teresa. It is true. Among them are Sergio and Eric, who possess a sincere devotion to working with underrepresented Spanish-speaking communities, resulting in the leading of a medical Spanish course to help bridge the gap between healthcare providers and the communities that they serve. There's Christian, whose passion for underserved populations led him to run our student outreach clinic, providing free healthcare to hundreds of Nevadans. And then there's Gisele, who has rescued so many stray animals that she's actually starting to make the local animal shelters look bad. We have individuals whose compassion was often directed towards their classmates instead, like Andrew and Ian, who are both aptly pursuing careers in psychiatry, provided invaluable emotional support through their, I like to call it, informal therapy sessions. Ariel, Kaylee, and Howe, whose innate ability to foster a sense of camaraderie among our class is particularly noteworthy, especially with their much anticipated social gatherings. There's Tayeb. His consistent vulnerability and authenticity acts as a refreshing contrast to the competitive nature of medicine. And whether you're feeling down or in just need of some comfort food, Gina's homemade meals with dessert is the perfect remedy, a delicious reminder that you are both loved and supported. We have individuals who are destined to change the world for the better. With natural leadership abilities and an unwavering commitment to others, Robert is bound to take his place in Congress fighting for the rights of his patients. Andrea's passion for activism is not just inspiring, it's contagious and will create lasting change. And with this person's bold character and sharp mind, Erin is poised to become a shining example for women pursuing careers in STEM. Saracella's fierce and unapologetic nature will always give her the strength to be a powerful advocate for her patients. And then there's Jake, whose combination of medical expertise with scientific acumen has a future so bright that a Nobel Prize could be very well in his sights. We have individuals whose passion for learning and educating will make them the future of medicine. With their commitment to education and Reno itself, Joseph and Robbie are bound to follow in the footsteps of legendary teachers like Dr. Gruner and Dr. Derringer, shaping the minds of future generations at UNR to come. Brooke Gantman and Danny will undoubtedly take any residency class by storm with their exceptional teaching abilities, humility, and desire to truly learn the art of medicine. We have the pediatric dream team, Michelle and Erica, whose supernatural ability to connect with toddlers can make even the most stubborn of toddler eat their vegetables. And let's not forget Curtis and Nantu, with their brilliance and ambition, who will one day probably be running their own medical school and showering all of us with exclusive invitations to academic conferences with exceptionally catered snacks. Everyone, we have witnesses to that, so. And we have a group of individuals whose resiliency reaches beyond comprehension. John Henry, Brenda, and Arthur have demonstrated an unparalleled ability to adapt to any obstacle presented, whether it's an unexpected outcome or just trying to find decent coffee in the hospital cafeteria. Keanu and Abe are the two unstoppable forces, never letting anyone tell them they can't reach their dreams, responding to doubt with a resounding "watch me." And then we have Danica and Caroline, who have endured unfathomable hardships with such grace, resulting in the careful nurturing of a community of vulnerability here at UNR Med. We have a group of individuals who refuse to let medicine define them as people. For instance, Sarah Bertram completed an Ironman, and Taylor completed her first half marathon during medical school. They're living proof that med students are not just brains, they are also bronze. Brooke Clemenson and Kelty are outdoors enthusiasts whose innate ability to lead a life of exploration leaves us all just a little bit jealous of their epic adventures. Sable has an insatiable thirst for knowledge, led her to read more books during medical school than most of us will read in a lifetime. Check her Goodreads. Justicia, Justine, and Caitlin are shining examples of strength and resiliency it requires to be a mother, as they balance the demands of school with the joys and challenges of motherhood, proving that women really can do it all. Yeah, let's snap for that, please. We have Jacqueline, whose artistic nature was beautifully demonstrated through her creation of a sculpture depicting the intricate beauty of lungs. Sarah and Cameron Burgess gave the phrase man's best friend a whole new meaning by raising our class's emotional support dog, an actual therapy dog, Neshka. Big round of applause for Neshka. And we can't forget Davison and Ryan, who managed to find their soulmates and tie the knot during medical school, proving that love truly is the best medicine. Well, maybe after antibiotics, but thank you for that. Thanks for laughing at that one. We have a group of individuals who helped make the challenging journey of medical school just a little bit more bearable. Dylan and Alex's what I can only describe as impromptu stand-up comedy routines never fail to provide a daily dose of humor. Lizbeth and Riyadh's sincerity and warmth enveloped our class, creating a sense of comfort and support. While Andrew Dabrowski, or some known as like the mayor of Reno, also creates a welcoming space for everyone he encounters. Sydney's vibrant personality and infectious laugh lights up every room she walks into. And Rhett's goofiness can make even the most stressful of days a little bit lighter. Sean's homemade treats quite literally sustained us through our preclinical years, while Maybob often showered us with her delicious baked delicacies. Ben has amazing talent for writing ridiculous songs about his cat's dental hygiene. Eddie with Gingivitis is the title, and it perfectly pairs with Jamie's and Alex's well-timed pictures of their kitten, Kevin. And Otto and Sam, who graciously accepted our class's playful superlatives and earned the titles Dr. McSteamy and Dr. McDreamy, respectively. And lastly, there's me, someone who's had the privilege of training with the remarkable individuals that sit before you. It was an honor to train not only along some of the finest future physicians, but some of the most kind and genuine people I've ever encountered. Congratulations, class of 2023. I am so immensely proud of you. I can't wait to see the impact that you will undoubtedly make on the world. We did it. Yay.
Thank you, Rachel. Next, I would like to introduce our keynote speaker. It is indeed an honor to welcome the President and CEO of the International AIDS Vaccine Initiative, Dr. Mark Feinberg.
Thank you very much. Congratulations to the UNR Med School class graduating in 2023. Congratulations. Congratulations as well to all of your parents, families, partners, and friends who have provided you with an amazing amounts of support, encouragement, friendship, and love that have made it possible for you to reach this important personal milestone. Congratulations, too, to all of the medical school faculty and staff whose insights, expertise, guidance, and dedication, as well as their personal examples and kindnesses, have helped you become the physicians you are today as you commence your medical careers. It is a true honor and a pleasure for me to be here with all of you to celebrate this auspicious event, and I want to offer my sincere thanks for providing me with the opportunity to share this special day with you. I have been fortunate to have the opportunity to meet a number of the members of the medical school graduating class and to see directly their impressive character, commitment, sincerity, and humanity that they individually and collectively manifest. Even in the best of times, medical school can be a very challenging experience. However, I know that your medical experience has been anything but ordinary. In addition to the typical challenges of medical education and the substantive process of defining the kind of person and physician that you aspire to be throughout your careers, you have all been impacted in multitudinous ways by the emergence and continuing persistence of the COVID-19 pandemic. In the allegorical novel The Plague by Albert Camus, the narrator and protagonist, Dr. Bernard Roux, commented that everyone knows that pestilences have a way of recurring in the world, yet somehow we find it hard to believe in the ones that crash down on our heads from a blue sky. Crashing down on our heads from a blue sky, indeed. With the first cases of a new disease that came to be known as COVID-19 reported in China in 2019, very soon after you started medical school, the previously unknown causative viral agent that soon became known as SARS-CoV-2 spread widely and quickly around the world. On March 11, 2020, the World Health Organization officially declared COVID-19 as a pandemic. Now, a bit more than 3 years later, more than 1 million people have died of COVID-19 in the United States, and it is estimated that more than 7 million and probably closer to 20 million people have died from the disease all around the world. It is a rare event that impacts everyone on the planet, but COVID-19 has certainly come close. The impact of COVID-19 on all of you has not just been in your medical school experience, but has also impacted your personal lives and those of your family and friends, including causing the tragic loss of loved ones who you're remembering and honoring today. While people are naturally drawn to be together in challenging times, social distancing measures central to pandemic response necessarily kept us all apart. Instead of days full of in-person lectures that have characterized preclinical medical education for so long, remote learning technologies made it possible for you to advance your studies, but also kept you physically separated for prolonged periods. Nevertheless, you worked successfully to develop deep and supportive ties with each other. You have also had to witness unprecedented levels of illness and death so early in your medical careers. You have watched loved ones of your patients having to say their last goodbyes over FaceTime rather than with a loving embrace. You have also seen extraordinary examples of many brave and caring healthcare professionals whose medical skills and deep compassion for their patients could not be obscured or diminished by all of the gloves, gowns, masks, and face shields that they needed to wear. You have vividly seen how crises can both draw people together and push them apart. Further, you have seen firsthand how the many substantive fragilities, weaknesses, inequalities in our nation's healthcare and public health systems were revealed by a microscopic virus. You have watched as science, the essential foundation for the progress and promise of modern medicine, was falsely called into question to serve ill-considered and short-sighted political ends rather than real humanitarian ones. At the same time, you have seen the power of contemporary science that made it possible to identify the virus that causes COVID-19 within a month of the first description of the disease, and the successful development of efficacious vaccines and drugs to prevent and treat the disease in less than a year. Having navigated these challenging times, you not only persevered, but together you have forged impressively strong connections as colleagues and friends. You've emerged from this experience caring deeply about each other and caring deeply about others, especially those whose lives are impacted by inequities, discrimination, and disenfranchisement. Tempered by these difficult experiences, you have built a strong foundation for making the rest of your medical careers, and indeed the rest of your lives, as positive, productive, and meaningful as possible. Not only have you learned lessons about the importance of caring and compassion, I've come to also appreciate that you also charmingly personify the guidance of Winston Churchill, the former Prime Minister of Great Britain, who led his country through the very dark and difficult days of World War II, and whose life, for some reason, fascinated me as a child, who said, "You could not deal with the most serious things in the world unless you also understand the most amusing." If laughter is indeed the best medicine, your shared irrepressible humor and affection for memes clearly indicate that you have all fully embraced this very valuable lesson. This will be an important lesson for you to hold on to. Now, when I witness the character and commitment of all of you, as well as your good cheer, I have good reason to be optimistic about the future. Your colleague Rachel White told me that I have faith in the future because of the people in my class. Now that is truly something special to cherish and celebrate. In a number of important ways, there are real parallels between your medical school experience and mine. Just like you, the start of my medical school experience was quickly followed by the unanticipated emergence of a global pandemic, one that also definitely crashed down from a blue sky. I started medical school at the time when some leading medical authorities had predicted the ultimate end of the threat of infectious diseases for human populations, postulating that it was just a matter of time before we simply check off one infectious disease after another from the list with the development of vaccines and drugs. With the first reports in 1981 of cases of a new and then poorly understood acquired immunodeficiency disease that soon became known as AIDS, reality would soon shatter the hubris of predictions of the elimination of infectious disease threats to humanity. Today, almost 40 million people around the world are living with HIV infection, and more than 40 million people have died since the start of the pandemic. As a medical student studying in the San Francisco Bay Area, where many of the first cases of AIDS were seen, I had a similar experience to yours, namely seeing a new disease emerge and challenge prevailing medical approaches and concepts. AIDS was then almost an invariably fatal disease of unknown causation with incompletely defined routes of transmission. It not only presented significant challenges to science to elucidate its etiology, but also to medical and healthcare system leaders to define the best approach to care for people suffering from the disease. As with so many other diseases, AIDS disproportionately impacted marginalized and economically disadvantaged populations. As a result, like COVID-19, also clearly illuminated inequities in our society, as well as how misunderstanding and discrimination can pull people apart, even within families, at a time when they really should be coming together. With many of the first cases of AIDS reported in men who have sex with men, injection drug users, and individuals from Haiti, the disease was seen as a threat to others. As a result, a diagnosis of AIDS not only carried devastating implications, but also the source of tremendous stigmatization for many affected individuals. Compounded with inaccurate fears about risk of infection, some healthcare professionals actually actively avoided people with AIDS. However, in marked contrast, I also witnessed the amazing bravery and kindness of other physicians and nurses who, rather than step away, would embrace those who were suffering and remaining with them throughout their remaining days. I learned that simply holding someone's hand, even when there were no treatments available for their disease, could be a tremendous way of caring and for making a tremendous difference in the most vulnerable time in their lives. This was a powerful lesson for me to learn so early in my medical career, and I carry it with me to this day. Furthermore, as the COVID-19 experience has done for you, for many of the physicians of my generation, the emergence of AIDS during our training provided us with invaluable lessons about the importance of human kindness, love, and compassion as the central tenets of the practice of medicine. Reflecting on the early years of the AIDS pandemic, Jonathan Mann, an early leader in the global response to AIDS and an unrelenting champion for the concept of health as a fundamental human right, stated, "Our responsibility is historic, for when the history of AIDS and the global response is written, our most precious contribution may well be that at a time of plague, we did not flee, we did not hide, and we did not separate." Above all, the most meaningful experiences I've had in my career have come from experiencing the fundamental humanity and basic human goodness revealed in the course of serving as a physician, caring for people suffering from life-threatening illnesses, and doing my best to comfort them and to be with them, even when there were no curative therapies available for their underlying illness. I still vividly remember many individuals who I met as patients, but who really taught me many of the best things humanity has to offer. I also remember many of the people whose medical circumstances tragically highlighted the inequities in our society and in our globe. As a result, I completely agree with the insights of the late neurologist and acclaimed author, Dr. Oliver Sacks, who said, "In examining disease, we gain wisdom about anatomy, physiology, and biology. In examining the person with disease, we gain wisdom about life." I imagine that you agree with Dr. Sacks as well. I also came to realize, as have many of you, that addressing disease solely with new drugs or innovative technologies is not sufficient. People are at the heart of medicine, both the people who provide medical care and the people who receive it. And caring for people, both your patients and your colleagues, is what makes a career in medicine such a uniquely wonderful pursuit. You will have both the privilege and enormous responsibility to be present at life-changing moments and to have your efforts and how you as a person engage with your patients as people will be remembered not just by your patients, but also by their loved ones for the rest of their lives. Be sure to remember that interactions you may not perceive as being particularly important may prove to be moments that your patients and their loved ones will deeply and clearly remember for the rest of their lives. Beyond caring deeply about your individual patients, a modern physician also needs to understand and address the social and societal determinants of health. And I believe for all of you, caring for patients isn't just something that takes place in exam rooms or on hospital wards. It requires understanding and addressing the societal forces that help precipitate illness and that impede access to and the effectiveness of needed therapies. With all of this in mind, the words of Dr. Francis Weld Peabody in a lecture to Harvard medical students in 1927 are still relevant today. Dr. Peabody said, "The good physician knows his patients through and through, and his knowledge is bought dearly. Time, sympathy, and understanding must be lavishly dispensed, but the reward is to be found in that personal bond which forms the greatest satisfaction of the practice of medicine. One of the essential qualities of the physician is interest in humanity, for the secret about the care of the patient is in caring for the patient. To me, the process of scientific discovery has been both fascinating and rewarding. As a young medical student, I was fortunate to learn the emerging tools of recombinant DNA technology and was thrilled to contemplate the potential biomedical advances they might enable. However, even the optimist in me could never have imagined the remarkable advances that have been made to date in our understanding of disease and our ability to treat and prevent them. The ability to sequence the human genome, not just of representative individuals, but to use this technology as a tool to guide disease diagnosis and treatment in the routine care of patients with serious diseases in close to real time, was inconceivable at that time. Highly effective immunotherapy of cancer was then a dream, but is now a reality for many. The ability to cure life-threatening genetic diseases like immunodeficiency syndromes, sickle cell disease, hemophilia, and others using gene therapy or the then unimaginable CRISPR-based technologies seemed like science fiction, but is now science reality. The ability to accurately predict complex protein structures and use this information to design novel drugs using artificial intelligence was beyond our imagination at the time, but is now actually happening today. These are but a few examples of the remarkable scientific advances that have been realized since I celebrated my own medical school graduation. However, not only has the pace and power of scientific discovery continued, it has accelerated. In the course of your medical careers, you will see even more and even more remarkable scientific advances that will help cure currently incurable diseases and prevent those that are now unpreventable. The scientist in me is really thrilled with these prospects for future innovation. However, I do have one request of you. Please don't let the emerging technologies get in the way of your caring for the people who come to you as patients or lead you to believe that close personal connections, caring, compassion, and trust are no longer the central and absolutely necessary tenets of the thoughtful practice of medicine. I was troubled when the advent of electronic medical records led many physicians to look at their computer screens rather than the faces of their patients. More recently, I was even more troubled when I read a recent publication in JAMA Internal Medicine that reported that the responses to real-world questions from patients provided by ChatGPT were scored as being of higher quality and more empathetic than those provided by actual physicians. I have good reason to believe that all of you will work hard to prioritize human connections as the fundamental elements of your medical careers. Please be champions of science, but also be champions of compassion and empathy. You can and must be both. Moving forward, please take very good care of your patients. Please take good care of your colleagues. Remember to also take very good care of your families and your loved ones. And certainly don't forget to take care of yourselves. Lastly, as the coming decades will see major and multifaceted impacts on human health from climate change, physicians of your generation will also have the important responsibility to be unwavering advocates for effective solutions that take good care of our planet and that protect the future generations who will inherit it. One of my personal role models in medicine and public health is Dr. Bill Foege, a physician who played a central role in the elimination of smallpox and a true humanitarian and global health visionary. I hope you will find his guidance on how to live one's life as meaningful as I have. Dr. Foege advised, never give up. Tenacity won't always bring you success, but without it, success is impossible. Be optimistic. The trouble with being an optimist is that people think you don't know what's going on, but it is the way to live. I wish you all the very best for success, happiness, and gratification in your medical careers and in your lives. You've accomplished great things bringing you to your graduation today. I look forward to seeing all of the great things you will accomplish in the future. Good luck.
Thank you, Dr. Feinberg. It's close. You guys ready? I would now like to recognize the following faculty members who will assist in presenting our graduates and their hoods. Associate Dean for Medical Education, Dr. Janet Corral. Associate Dean for Academic Affairs, Dr. Neda Edizadi. And would ask the following individuals to proceed to the right side of our stage. President Brian Sandoval, Dean Paul Hauptman, and Dr. Rika Danko. And presenting our graduates, please welcome Associate Dean for Admissions and Student Affairs, Dr. Cherie Singer.
Thank you, Dr. Baker. All right, you guys ready? Okay. The first row, please. Jamie Therese Abad, hooded by Renato Abad. Tayeb Abbas, hooded by Azra Zafar. Taylor Nicole Artis, hooded by Darcy Artis. Riyad Atra, hooded by Ahmed Atra. Davison Bienfeld, hooded by Ellen Bienfeld. Sarah Bertram, hooded by Dr. Joseph Demerjian. Kaylee Bingham Abujason, hooded by Jeremiah Abujason Bingham. Gisele Braga, hooded by Dr. Allison Cotton. Carolyn Brereton, hooded by Michelle Brereton. Cameron John Burgess, hooded by Sarah Burgess. Sarah Burgess, hooded by Cameron Burgess. Brooke Christine Clemenson, hooded by Dr. Patrick Burns. Andrea Dickens Chang, hooded by Michelle Dickens. Andrew John Dabrowski, hooded by Pam Taquino Dabrowski. Curtis Duncan, hooded by Mary Flanagan, in memory of Dr. Paul Shakes today. Maybob Gloria Enokenwa, hooded by Enchong Enokenwa. Ryan Freeman, hooded by Dr. John Freeman. Brooke Catherine Gantman, hooded by Michael Gantman. Sam Jennis, hooded by Leslie Sargent. Danielle Green, hooded by Chelsea Green. Lisbeth Gichen Mihara, hooded by Rogelio Gichen. Robert Gullickson, hooded by Dr. Brady Janes. Rhett Harmon, hooded by Dr. Teresita Harmon. Alexander Hayden Harper, hooded by Kathy Rederath. Joseph Christian Heller, hooded by Brian Heller. Sable Marie Hicks, hooded by Dr. Bruce Whitmer. Ariel He Hierholzer, hooded by Dr. T.J. Maroon. Robert Higley, hooded by Dr. Caitlin Orn. Christian Hara, hooded by Walter Hara. Aaron Francis Kelly, hooded by Gianni Panieri. Arthur Kachatrian, hooded by Anush Kanoyan. Andrew Younghoom Kim, hooded by Dr. David Kim. Erica Yena Kim, hooded by Young Kwon Kim. Regina Karapova, hooded by Maya Korohina. John Henry David Lambin, hooded by David Lambin. Caitlin Latimer, hooded by Brian Schuster. Ian Orville Tabino Loffrey, hooded by Laura Loffrey. Sydney Catherine Lawton, hooded by Galen Lawton. Nantu Lee, hooded by Tin Nguyen. Michelle Malwain, hooded by Shama Malwain. Danica Shaji Matthew, hooded by Vigna Matthew. Otto Minardis Maurer, hooded by Denise Minardis. Jacqueline McBride, hooded by Dr. Ellen McBride. Keanu McMurray, hooded by Reina Rodriguez. Dylan Meyer, hooded by Delaney Shield. Eric Nguyen, hooded by Christine Nguyen. Justine Lee Resnick, hooded by Robert Resnick. Abriana Simone Robles, hooded by Dr. Letitia Bradford. Jessica Sierra Schmidt, hooded by Dr. Laura Knight. Sarah Sella, hooded by Aaron Hubbard. Brenda Shen, hooded by Dr. Gary Shen. Jacob Sorensen, hooded by Mark Sorensen. Hao Koto, hooded by An To. Sean Torres, hooded by Martin Torres. Sergio Trejo Jr., hooded by Dr. Jonathan Habashi. Benjamin Wagner, hooded by John Wagner. Kelty White, hooded by Dominique White. And Rachel Elizabeth White, hooded by James White.
I would now like to call up to the stage Lieutenant Colonel Bruce Gallio, United States Air Force, along with our commissioning graduates. Lieutenant Colonel Gallio will perform the officer commissioning of 3 of our graduates. Sarah Burgess, promoted to the rank of Lieutenant, Medical Corps, United States Navy. Maybob Enokenwa, promoted to the rank of Lieutenant, Medical Corps, United States Navy. And Robert Gullickson, promoted to the rank of Captain, Medical Corps, United States Air Force. Sarah, Maybob, and Robert, please come to center stage for your commissioning.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Sarah Burgess,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely,
that I take this obligation freely,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
of
the office to which I am about to enter, so help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Lieutenants Burgess and Enokenwa and Captain Gullickson. Now I would like to ask all of our new graduates, the physicians on stage and in the audience, to reaffirm their commitment to the medical profession and join the members of the class of 2023 in reciting the physician's oath. The oath is located on page 7 in your program book. Dr. Elisa Calvo will lead the recitation of the physician's oath. Graduates and physicians, please stand.
I solemnly pledge to dedicate my life to the service of humanity. The health and well-being of my patient will be my first consideration. I will respect the autonomy and dignity of my patient. I will maintain the utmost respect for human life. I will not permit considerations of age, disease or disability, creed, ethnic origin, gender, nationality, political affiliation, race, sexual orientation, social standing, or any other factor to intervene between my duty and my patient. I will respect the secrets that are confided in me even after the patient has died. I will practice my profession with conscience and dignity in accordance with good medical practice. I will foster the honor and noble traditions of the medical profession. I will give my teachers, colleagues, and students the respect and gratitude that is their due. I will share my medical knowledge for the benefit of the patient and the advancement of healthcare. I will attend to my own health, well-being, and abilities in order to provide care of the highest standard. I will not use my medical knowledge to violate human rights and civil liberties, even under threat. I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor.
Thank you, Dr. Calvo. Please be seated. I would now like to ask President Sandoval to the podium to confer the Doctor of Medicine degree upon the University of Nevada, Reno School of Medicine class of 2023.
Ready? Yeah. By virtue of the laws of the state of Nevada and the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents, I confer upon those fulfilling the appropriate requirements the doctorate degrees recommended by the faculties of the university with all the rights, privileges, and obligations belonging thereto. Congratulations.
Well, not only do we have the best students, the best faculty, and the best staff, we have the best graduation ceremony, don't you think? I'd like to thank and acknowledge the Pioneer Center for the Performing Arts team and all of their volunteers for their assistance with the 2023 Doctor of Medicine commencement ceremony. I also want to thank and acknowledge the collaborative contributions of our marketing and communications and admissions and student affairs teams who made this ceremony possible. Congratulations, graduates, families, and friends. Thank you all for coming today. Graduates, you are now invited to stand for our recessional to the outdoor plaza, and family and friends, please join your graduates outside on the front plaza to share congratulations. We wish you a wonderful afternoon. Thank you.